Hey guys, and welcome to this episode. Today's episode is going to be just the colorless and the multicolored portion of Zendikar Rising. Also the lands, but we're only going to talk about the rare and the mythic rare. Because the other videos dragged along really long and the set is almost released. So we're only going to talk about the rares and the mythic rares. And just a reminder, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers here at Geeks and Jocks. So if you want to comment, like, and or share this video, as well as subscribe yourself if you haven't done so, that we really appreciate it. So we have, so we're going to dive right into the video. This is going to be the colorless and the multicolored, as well as the lands for this set. And we have Myriad Construct for 4. It's an artifact creature construct. It's a rare. Kicker 3. And if it was kicked, it enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counters on it for each non-basic land your opponent control. When it becomes a target of a spell, sacrifice it and create a number of 1/1 colorless construct artifact creatures tokens equal to its power. Best case scenario, it has like maybe 3-4 lands. Maybe it's an 8/8. Worst case scenario, it's a 4/4 and they have no non-basic lands. I don't know. Well, it has to be kicked for it to activate the +1/+1 counters on it. So I guess worst case scenario is going to be the scenario we're always going to be looking at, and it's going to be a 4/4. So yeah, I don't see it having any play in standard. You know, because it doesn't even have to die. It just have to be targeted. Like if you play anything that deals 1 damage, 2 damage, whatever, it still kills it because you have to sacrifice it. And then it makes 1/1 colorless artifact creatures. So I don't think it's that good. Skycliff Relic for 3 colorless is an artifact, kicker 3, indestructible. Enters the battlefield. If it was kicked, create 2 tapped tokens that are copies of Skycliff Relic, and it adds 1 mana of any color. So late game, I don't know. I don't think it's that good. I think it's only gonna be indestructible and just doing mana of any color. A little bit worse than Chromatic Lantern, because Chromatic Lantern helped you all your lands produce any color. But this one, it itself produces any color, so it's not that good. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna see any play, if any. You know, artifacts maybe, an artifact heavy deck, but I don't think so. Then we have Forsaken Monument for 5. Legendary artifact. Colorless creatures you control get +2/+2 whenever you tap a permanent. For a colorless, add additional colorless. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, you gain 2 life. Yeah. This is for Tron. This is made for modern Tron, and it's amazing. I love it. I love the fact that you know, Tron didn't need any help, but this card is amazing, especially for E-Tron, which is Eldrazi's Tron. So yeah, I like it a lot. It's gonna see a lot of play in E-Tron decks. Lethal Form Engine for 4 colorless. It's a legendary artifact. You pay 2, you tap. Copy target activated ability or trigger ability you control. You may choose new targets for this copy. This screams Commander, and we're gonna treat it as so. It's good. It's good. It's looking good. Then you pay 3 and you tap. You copy instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for this copy. Again, it's good. Some of the big spells you wanna play them twice. You can pay 3 and tap it, and this will make it happen. And at 4, you copy target permanent spell you control, and the copy becomes a token. It doesn't get away with the legendary rule, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good because some cards in Commander you usually don't play them because you can't make you don't have copies of them. But there's a lot of spells out there that help you make copies. A lot of doubles out there, and this is one of those cards that help you do that. And the fact that it just copies instant and sorceries is just really good. Like I said, I think it's going to see play maybe even in other formats, but definitely in Commander. Then we move into Multicolored, and we're going to look at the rares. It's not that bad. Then we have Akiri Fearless Voyeur. For a colorless, a red and a white, it's a core warrior. Whenever you attack a player with one of your one or more equipped creatures, draw a card. You pay white, you may unattach an equipment from a creature you control. If you do, tap that creature and it gains indestructible until the end of the turn. So basically it's a way to protect it. I guess the downside is you unattach an equipment card. But hey, it's a way to give it hexproof. I mean, indestructible, so it's not that bad. Then we have Grandma Skycliff Ravager. For a colorless, a green and a black. It's a Hydra horror. It enters the battlefield with 3+1/+1 counter on it. Whenever another creature you control dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. Whenever it dies, create XX black and green Hydra creature tokens, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on. So it's not that bad. So it actually creates basically the same creature. Like it's almost a copy, but it doesn't have the abilities. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad, especially with all the synergy with the +1/+1 counters. Yeah, it's not that bad. I like this card and might see some play because it still enters with 3 +1/+1 counters. So it's not bad if you are running counters on your deck. This card is definitely gonna see play in your deck. And you have Casa Royal Chaser for a blue and a red. Is it human wizard? Has flying haste. That's really good. Tap. Next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less to cast, where X is the number of wizards you control as this ability resolves. That's pretty good. So you can flash him in, but this ability has to resolve afterwards. But if you have several wizards, there's a couple of good wizards out there. It's still in the format. You know, this will cost a lot less, or your spell will cost a lot less. So maybe in a wizard deck, which was already a deck back in the day when Dominaria came out, they had a lot of wizards. So maybe for historic. Then we have Linvala Shield of the Sea Gate. For a colorless, a white and a blue. It's an angel wizard. Has flying. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you have a full party, choose a non-land permanent your opponent controls. Until next turn, it can attack or block, and its activated abilities can be activated. Oh, yeah. Then you sacrifice it, choose hexproof or indestructible creatures you control, gain that ability until the end of the turn. Yeah, this card is great. This card is great. Because this card is gonna definitely still play, especially in blue-white flyers. Yeah, definitely. They're losing some cards, but they're gaining some cards. So this one is really awesome. Then we have Orwell Skycliff Hierophant. It's a 2 colorless, a white and a black. It's a core cleric. It has lifelink. Whenever it or another cleric you control dies, return target cleric card with lesser converted mana cost from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if you only have this cleric, you're going to be bringing him back every time. Yep, pretty much. You only play him, he's going to be coming back. So anything that triggers CTBs when they die, basically in a type of aristocrat deck, yeah, it's going to see a lot of play. This card is going to see a lot of play. Then we have Pilaf World Sculptor. For 4 colorless, a red and a green. It's an elemental. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each basic land you control. That's great. Late game, you already have 6 lands probably, and you create 6 plants. And whenever a land enters the battlefield and you control, you put 4 +1/+1 counters on the target plant you control. So they get huge. They get huge pretty fast. So yeah, this card might see some play actually in like Gruul builds. Then we have Verasol, the Split Current. At a first glance, I thought this card was going to be really good, but if you read it and read it again, it's not that great. So it's for X, a green and a blue. It's a serpent. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each mana spent to cast it. So it's like kind of like it's kind of like obviously like a Hydra. Whenever you cast a kick spell, you may remove 2 +1/+1 counters from Verasol, and if you do copy that spell, you may choose new targets for that copy. The fact of the matter that kickers are so expensive, and the spell has to be kicked, it's not that good. It's not that good. It's okay, but it's not that good. It's definitely not gonna replace the spot that Hydro Krasis had on the deck, because it doesn't let you draw, and that's a big drawback from this card. Because if you only want a blocker, you can spend 3 mana. Yeah, it comes in with a +1/+1 counter, but then the rest of the text is useless because you can't remove 2 +1/+1 counters. Then we have Yasharn, Implacable Earth. For 2 colorless, a green and a white, is elemental boar. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic forest and a basic plains. Reveal those cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. Players can pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. Basically, it's a great sideboard card against those decks that like to sacrifice. So it's gonna be probably Rakdos Sacrifice is gonna be the best card. You know, that this card shines against. You know, this card is very good against those type of decks. Then we have Sagra's Thief of Heartbeats. So it's 4 colorless, black and a red. It's a vampire rogue. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. Has Flying, Death Touch, and Haste. Best case scenario, you cast it for 2. Worst case scenario, you cast it for the full amount, which is 6. Whenever creature you control deals combat damage to a planeswalker, destroy that planeswalker. It's not that bad if you count it as a, it doesn't have flash. So if they want, they're gonna try to, get rid of it. However, it does have Flying, Death Touch, and it does have haste. So, yeah, maybe you have another creature on the board and it costs you 5. It's not that bad because it just kills the planeswalker. There's a lot of big planeswalkers out there still that are going to be a problem. Then we have Sarith San the Trickster. For 3 colorless and a blue and a black. Merfolk Rogue with Flash. You pay 2 colorless, a blue and a black. And you return unblocked attacking Rogue to your owner's hand. And you put it in its place. Tap it and attacking. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may put a target permanent card from your player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So you steal something from the graveyard. It's a 4/4. It's not that bad if you consider that it's going to be obviously a late game because you want your opponent to have something good in the graveyard. However, it just means that, you had to go great lengths to put it in the graveyard. Yeah, it's coming back under your control. However, there's a lot of bouncing spells that they may just get that card back. So it does a permanent. A lot of there's some that deal with like enchantments and stuff. So that bounces enchantment stuff, and Mason Bauer is still a card. So I don't know. It's I don't really like this card at the get go, but we'll see. Then we go with Nahiri, Hair of the Ancients. For 2 colorless and red and a white, you create a 1/1 core warrior token. You may attach an equipment card you control to it. I'm guessing without paying the cost of equipment. So it's not that bad if you play it in obviously equipment decks that have a lot of equipments. Basically, it creates a kind of like a battle skull. It creates a germ and it attaches to it. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad that it has a +1/+1. I mean that it's a 1/1 on it. So might be a little bit buffier than the equipment itself. Then its -2 is look at the top 6 cards of the library. You may reveal a warrior or equipment card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of the library in any random order. It's not that good. It lowers its loyalty, and it doesn't give itself protection. -3 is Nahiri hair. -3, it deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to twice the number of equipment you control. That's not that good. That's not good. You're probably never going to play in the third mode of this card. The other two are not that good and not that bad. Because first mode, you have to have an equipment. Second mode, yeah, you are searching, but it's the loyalty is at 2. So it's open for any attack. It doesn't protect itself. So it's not good. I don't think it's good at all. Then we have Nissa of Shadowed Box. For 2 colors, a black and a green. It has landfall, and whenever it enters the battlefield, it gains a loyalty counter. And you may untap a land you control. It becomes a 3/3 elemental with haste and menace. The menace is nice, but it returns to being a land at the end of the turn. It's not like the 5 mana Nissa, where the lands just they remain a land. This card is not that good. And its -5 is you may put a creature card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control. Enters the battlefield from your hand or graveyard with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. You can't use it the turn it comes in. The -5. You can't use it the turn it comes in. The land is vulnerable. The land is open for any attack or spells, like being blocked, or it does have menace, but it's not indestructible. It would have been better just haste and indestructible. And so they may kill it as a creature, but still land. And the fact that you cannot use it right away, I don't know, I don't think it's not that good. Maybe it was at 5 and you do it and it dies, but you still do another effect. Yeah, that would have been better, but I guess they didn't want to make it too broken, so that's fine, I guess. I don't think this is going to see a lot of play. Then we have Omneth, Locus of Creation, for a red, a green, a white, and a blue. This is really good. It's an elemental. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So it replaces itself. It doesn't have to, but it replaces itself. 4/4 power and toughness. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life. If this is the first time this ability has been resolved this turn, if it's the second time, add red, green, white, and blue. And if this is the third time, it deals 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. So yeah, this is a good card if you manage to play it in a 5-color deck. I mean, it's pretty hard to make it make it on turn 4, but it's definitely a great play even on turn 5. And from there on, you just start stacking up the landfall, and yeah, just to keep the good times rolling. And last but not least, we're gonna go into the land, and I think all the lands are gonna be the rares. This one we have now they're doing double sides of the lands. It's gonna be Branch Loft Pathway and Boulder Loft Pathway. So you choose either or. You can use it as green or as white, but after it hits the battlefield, you can't. If you bounce it, I'm sure that you can flip them, but once you choose that side, it's pretty much the side you need. The fact that they don't come in tapped is really good. Then we have Bright Climb Pathway and Green Climb Pathway, which is the Orzhov, which is the white and the black. Then we have Clear Water Pathway and Murk Water Pathway, which is the Mirror, which is blue and black. Then we have Crack Crown Pathway and Timber Crown Pathway. which is the Grow side, which is red and green. Then we have Crawling Barrens. You tap for a colorless, you pay 4, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and you may have it become a 0/0 elemental creature until the end of the turn, and it's still a land. Oh, this is good. This is good because every time you put the counters on it, they remain on the permanent. So if you do it a second time, it's already at 4. Third time, so on and so forth. And if you have counters on your stuff, if you're running a counters deck, this can get huge pretty quick. You are paying 4, but obviously this is for late game, and you start hitting with it. And it's great when you have like something get rid of the threats and just a clear board. You just start chipping away their life points. Then we have the Boros side, Needle Verge Pathway and Pillar Verge Pathway, which is red and white. Then we have the Izzet side, the Izzet land, which is River Glide Pathway and Lava Glide Pathway, which is blue and red. And then Throne of Makindi is added colorless. You pay 1, you tap, you put a counter on this card and remove a counter. Tap, you remove a counter and you add 2 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast kick spells. It's not that bad. This is good if you're gonna play kick spells. I don't think that strategy is gonna be that good, but we'll see if they break it. And as we know, this set is gonna have expeditions, so I'm actually pretty excited about it. You know, if you get it, you get it, kind of. The fact that it has Cavern of Souls is pretty good. They have the Manlands. So yeah, Horizon Canopies, Forest Strand, Groove of the Burn Willows, Luxury Suite, Marsh Flats, Mystery Rainforest, Morphic Pool, Polluted Delta, Pragmatic Vista, Resor Verge Thicket, Scalding Tarn, Sea of Clouds, Seachrome Coast, Spire Garden, Strip Mine. Strip Mine is pretty good actually. Valakut. Oh, Valakut is really looking good. Verdant Catacombs, Wasteland, Wispen Heath, Wooded Foothills, and the ones that I miss on top: Asian Tom, Arid Mesa, Black Clay Cliffs, Bloodstained Mire, Bountiful Promenade. So yeah, Celestial Colonnade there, Cooperline Gorge, Creeping Tar Pit, and Darksleep Shores. So yeah, good collection of lands. It's one of those, if you get it, you get it. I wouldn't be cracking a lot of boxes to get these. They're really nice. They're really nice expeditions. They're actually not that expensive. So we'll see how that goes. So let me know what you think in the comments. This will complete the whole set for Zendikar Rising. And let me know which format you like the best. If you like the longer format or the shorter format. Of course, we're skewing some of the cards. We're not talking about the commons and uncommons, but sometimes those cards don't matter that much to choose what type of deck you're going to be building. So, and that's it for today's video. Let me know what you think. If you want to like, comment, share this video. And if you want to subscribe yourself, that'd be amazing. This video was brought to you by Gaming and by Dex. Links are in the description of the video. And remember to watch Bandit 328 every Tuesday and Thursdays on MTGO. He's doing a Twitch stream. Also, link on the video, on the description of the video. And that's it for today's video. We'll see you in the next one.